slightly out of their hands.
Feeling from Ange Postecoglou, just his expression that he'd come in with the best of intentions, and the club probably had brought him in with those as well. But day by day, he was just seeing the paper parade and find himself back in exactly the situation that everybody swore they wouldn't.
It is kind of crazy that he joined, and then there was a game called off for rain in Thailand. There's this whole Kane situation. They haven't brought in centre back, so even within he's only been there a couple of months or less. Officially, he's only been there a month.
You've got the RICO case against your.
And there's Joe Lewis. This Joe Lewis indictment, who should say for legal reasons he is not the owner of Tottenham. He stepped down from being a person of significant control in October. But clearly that is a massive issue hanging over them.
What would the potential impact on Spurs be?
Well, in theory, because he's no longer, it's not a situation like with Abramovich where Joe Lewis could be deemed to be not a fit and proper person to own a club because he doesn't actually own that club anymore. But reputationally, it could do them a lot of damage. There might be institutions who are reluctant to deal with Tottenham as a result of it. But technically, there's not, it shouldn't have a huge effect on them. But it's another huge distraction, and this broke on the last day of the tour.
Was it weird on tour with Harry?
A bit. I mean, there was definitely an awkwardness because of all the uncertainty, and he'd be doing appearances and what have you, but he wasn't put up for interviews.
You get a good laugh out of that, mate.
Yeah, there's that amazing.
Very good accent.
Got what you came for, mate. That was fantastic. The Max Schrader, who the sort of bête noire of Tottenham, who presented Postecoglou with the Game by 9 shirt, then got banned from. What was so funny though was that he got banned from the game of Bangkok that was then rained off. So it was like Schrader, there's this evil genius sort of. Had images of him kind of driving out of Bangkok in his convertible with a Kane Bayern 9 shirt billowing in the wind. It's like, you got away this time, Schrader. But yeah, he became a big talking point.
Well, a couple of questions here, Charlie. Well, one is from Mikey Mike 2711. Do you think he's a bot? Maybe. But anyway, Mikey Mike 2711 says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy will Arsenal fans be when the news breaks of Kane moving to Munich? I will be in 11. Is that going to happen, that move?
It looks increasingly likely, yeah. I mean, it's not happening quickly. And Carl mentioned the tedium of the Mbappe saga. I don't feel like this Kane saga is a particularly exciting one. But yeah, it looks more likely than it ever has done before that he'll go. All
right. And the follow-up question from John Sands. Who would Charlie's ideal Harry Kane replacement be?
I don't think there's going to be. I think if there are people holding out for Kane goes and they bring in £100 million striker as a replacement, I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think they'll replace, in inverted commas. They'll bring in to this window potentially forward attacking players who can kind of rotate. I mean, they've got Richarlison and Son who can both play as a central striker, and I think they'll be looking more for players who can play as a 9 or as a wide forward.
Will they be selling Elvis and buying the Nolans?
10 years since that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, since the sold Elvis and bought the Beatles. Eric Lamella.
Are we doing anything about that?
Who came up with that?
Yeah. It was Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, well, there you go. All right, so probably Kane goes to Bayern, and not really sure who's coming in to replace him. They have got James Maddison.
Yeah, I mean, Maddison's come in, and I think that's a really good signing. They bought Vicario as well.
Right, James, how good a signing is he?
I think he's a really good signing. He was, over the last couple of years, just been one of the best goalkeepers in the league. In Italy. Hasn't maybe got the profile of Onana or Mike Maignan, but just one of those shot stoppers who, I was talking to Charlie about this when he signs, on his day he looks unbeatable where he'll make 8 saves.
There's that famous triple save, isn't there?
Against Roma.
Yeah.
Where, to be honest, it's not hard to make a triple save when you're facing Belotti and sort of Tammy Abraham as he was last year. Get well soon, Tammy. But yeah, I think he's just a great guy. Speaks good English already.
He is, yeah. So we got to speak to him in Perth, and he came across really well. I think he's got a bit about him. I think he might be a bit of a leader for that team.
Hello there. If you've enjoyed this video, why not subscribe to this channel? The Totally Football Show podcast is available 3 times a week, bringing you all the football news you could reasonably be expected to care about. We've got views, we've got stats, we've got analysis, we've got some of the best football writers around, and the whole thing is absolutely free. So have a listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or all the usual places by clicking on the link below.